This video series will enable you to read the Bible in its original language. I've read so many misinformed comments from people sincerely wanting to read the actual Hebrew text. This is easy, but it takes the correct teacher and a careful way of presenting it. I don't want you to buy fish. I want you to learn how to fish for yourself. So not only do I want to enable you to confidently read the Bible, I want you to be able to see with your own eyes the hidden patterns and structure of the Bible. Kabbalah, the mystical tradition of Judaism that's become popular in Hollywood, plays a central role in learning Hebrew. However, the Kabbalah you will learn here is the true Jewish tradition. We start with the alphabet. There are 22 letters and several vowels. One of our oldest Kabbalistic texts, the Sefer Yetzirah, translated as the Book of Formation, says that the 22 letters are further grouped into 3 mother letters, 7 doubles, and 12 simples. The 3 mother letters correspond to elements of nature. The letter Aleph corresponds to air, the letter Mem corresponds to water, and the letter Shin corresponds to fire. The 7 double letters are capable of 2 sounds, a hard and soft. There is an unwritten dot which indicates whether the hard sound is there or not. Hebrew speakers know grammatically whether the unwritten dot exists or not. I will give you an example. The letter Pei can be pronounced without the dot in its soft form as an F. The hard sound is a P. Such a double letter can fluctuate whether it's soft or hard depending upon the rest of the letters in the word. And the vowels. These 7 letters correspond, according to the Sefer Yetzirah, to the 7 planets, 7 days, and 7 orifices in the head, which are also known as the doors of the soul. There are 12 simple letters which each have a single sound. These correspond to the 12 planets and 12 months. The vowels are typically not written in Hebrew, although they do exist and infused in the pronunciation of the words. Spinoza wrote in his 1677 book, Hebrew Grammar, that the letters are the body of the text while the vowels are its soul. Before I introduce you to the letters, I must explain gematria. Each letter has 2 numerical values. One value is simply its position within the alphabet. For example, in English, D is the 4th letter. The other value is the gematria value. Gematria involves adding the values of each letter in a word. This gives you a numerical total for the word. I'll explain later in this series an alternative system of gematria discovered by Stan Tenen, which jibes with several traditions in Judaism and the Bible. For the first 10 letters, each letter has a matching ordinal and gematria value. Beginning with the 11th letter, the gematria values count by tens. So the 11th letter is 20, the 12th is 30, and so forth. When the pattern reaches 100, the next letter begins a count by hundreds. That means that the 22nd letter has a gematria value of 400, which is a multiple of the symbolic number 40 in the Bible. There is an extension to this list. Some of the 22 letters shift their written appearance if they appear as the final letter in a word. These final form letters have their own gematria values. There are 5 final form letters. So counting in hundreds, this list becomes extended. The last final form letter in the list has a value of 900, one less than 1,000. These are the letters in alphabetical order: Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, lamed, mem, nun, samech, ayin, pei, tzadi, kof, resh, shin, tav. I will read them again, now giving the pronunciation sounds. Aleph now remains silent. Bet can either be a V or a B. Gimel is a G. Dalet is a D. Hey is an H, or sometimes silent. Vav is sometimes a V. Zayin is a Z. Chet is a coughing sound. Tet is a T. Yod or Yud is a Y or an E. Kaf is a K. Lamed is an L. Mem is an M. Nun is an N, like Nancy. Samech is an S. Ayin is now customarily silent. Pei is a P as a hard sound and F as a soft sound. Tzadi is a sound combination of T and Z as in zebra. Kof is a K sound. Resh is an R sound. Shin is either an S or a sh as in SH. Finally, tav is either a T sound or an S sound. T sound in hard form and S sound in soft form. Those letters with final forms are Kaf, Mem, Nun, Pei, and Tzadi. One letter, the Shin, has two possible pronunciations, depending on which spot the invisible dot called a dagesh is added to. This letter is the Shin. For those of you familiar with the Vulcan hand gesture in Star Trek, you have already seen this form. It's a hand gesture used by rabbis. They gesture with both hands, one hand raised slightly higher than the other. It's formed by splitting the four fingers into a V shape, so you have two fingers touching each other, two pairs of two fingers. The thumb extends out itself. As filming of Star Trek's second season premiere episode was underway, Jewish actor Leonard Nimoy figured that since this episode featured Vulcan culture, we should see some special greeting. He utilized a gesture he glimpsed during a routine Jewish congregational service. The service involves the rabbi making this gesture with hands stretched out over the congregation as they cover their eyes. The divine feminine presence, called the Shekhinah, mystically dwells amidst the congregation during this. The gesture resembles the letter Shin, which begins several words. Shin begins the word Shaddai, which is one of God's divine titles, El Shaddai. It also begins the word Shalom, which means harmony or peace, sharing the same root as the word for completion. Now, these are the vowels. Unless there is some special need for clarification, they are normally not written in Hebrew. When they are written, they appear below the preceding letter. Hebrew reads from right to left, sequencing top, bottom, letters on top, vowels on the bottom. These are the vowels. By the 6th century, a group of scribes called the Masoretes used these written symbols to preserve vowel pronunciation. There are 5 pairs. Each pair has a long form and a short form. So altogether, there are 10 vowel symbols. The pair pronunciation pairs are ah, eh, e, o, and oo. Pair 1, the ah pair. Kametz gadol for the long form and patak for the short form. The long form looks like a plus sign if you cut off the top tip. The short looks like a horizontal line. Pair 2, tsere for the long and segol for the short. The long form looks like 2 dots written horizontally. The short looks like a triangular arrangement of 3 dots with 2 of them above 1. Pair 2, hirek gadol for the long and hirek katan for the short. Gadol means great and katan means small. The long form looks like a yod with a dot written below. The short form is simply that dot below. Pair 3, kolem for the long and kametz for the short. The long form looks like a vav with a dot atop it. The short looks like the kametz gadol, the almost complete plus symbol. Pair 5, shurek for the long and kibbutz for the short. The long form looks like a vav with a dot added on the left side halfway up. The short form is a diagonal arrangement of 3 dots slanting downwards towards the right. We now go a bit further towards forming sentences. Here's something very easy to start that journey. Certain letters can be added as prefixes at the beginnings of words. In English, we would write the house as 2 separate words. But in Hebrew, we would add a letter that indicates the. We would add it as a prefix to the word for house. Here is the list of 7 prefixes. These are actually shortened versions of full words that have those meanings. Bet means in, within, on, or upon. Hey means the, as in the book, the hotel. Vav means and. It combines things, this and that. Kaf indicates a comparison. We tend to use the word like in English. Lamed means for or to. Mem means from. Shin means that, as in the one that or the one who. There's a special word in Hebrew that doesn't exist in English. It's written before direct objects. The word consists of 2 letters, aleph and tav, the first and final letters of the alphabet.